On today's video, we'll look at some interesting market movement on some great cards. It's coming up next. Hi everyone, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel, you're just finding me in that cyber nacho cheese universe of YouTube, thanks a lot for checking out my content today. I really hope you guys enjoy it. Now, of course, turn that notification bell on. Give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We're only 347 subscribers away from getting to the online pizza party where I'm going to sit here and just eat an extra large pizza in front of you guys and have a great conversation about Magic for as long as it takes. We're just going to have a good time that night. No designated time. We're just going to let it go until people leave me. And of course, then we're going on to the 10K subscriber party, and the rules will come out for that around the 9,000 subscriber mark, just so people are aware of what's going to happen. They need a lot of time to plan for this, so I want to give you guys tons of information and tons of time to prepare yourselves for 10,000 subscribers. All right, now let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I was getting ready to sleeve up and get ready for my next commander deck. My red-black commander deck. I was putting some stuff together, and I realized I was missing cards. So when I started to look some of these cards up online, I noticed, some reprints, some good cards, some great combinations. Some of them that you guys gave me on the channel. Thank you so much, guys, for that help. I really appreciate it since I'm kind of new to Commander. But it was also the sales volumes of some of these key cards that a lot of people take for granted. And recognizing when cards go down or when they go up during reprint time, and understanding when to buy it and hold it, so when cards start getting evaporated into the market and why they evaporate, and then leaning to reselling those cards and making some money. So some interesting cards today. Let's go ahead, let's jump into these cards, have a good time with it, and of course at the end we'll recap the gibberish that I have spewed from my mouth today. Alright guys, let's get down here to our first card. I call it card number 1, but it's not really card number 1. Alright guys, the If Biff of Freet from Arabian Nights. $250 Canadian for a moderate played copy. I looked at this card because it is a card I need for my Arabian Nights collection. I'm just trying to price some cards out, see if I can get some trade going, to see if I can get myself into that card. The average price is $266.47. The market is $301.98 and €213 to get you that card. Now the sales are steady on this. It's selling a couple of copies every week or so. Most of them are moderate to heavily played, but there are those people looking for the near mint copies who are trying to upgrade Arabian Night collections. It has an overall jump of 6.14% this week. Now, the formats are Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and I put Old School down here because I know it gets used in Old School. Amazing card, and a lot of Arabian Nights cards see a lot of play in the Old School format. So, amazing card, awesome to see it. Let's go to our next card, and that is going to be Serra Sanctum. Now, isn't this funny? We're looking at this card a year and 3 months later, whatever. $375 Canadian for a light played copy. I remember telling people to buy this card at less than $200, and look where it's at now. And this price is kind of sticking. Now, the average is $345.67. The market is $290.34. €228.59 to get that card. Overall jump of 7.85%. The format Commander, Vintage, Legacy, right? We get it. The sales are steady on this card as well. But again, it's consistent. It's like a couple of copies every week. It's moving along. And the real kicker is, as they make more enchantments, as more enchantments enter the game in sets like Theros and Theros Beyond Death, cards like this become a little more lethal, a little bit more combo heavy. They can really get things going for a deck that has a Serra Sanctum in it for Commander. Keep this card in mind. It's just some of those cards you have to be aware of. I love it, of course, because of the history of Serra as the Planeswalker. But when I look at this as well, I see the potential of this card to easily go to 1,000 like a Cradle in the future. So if you have one, definitely hold on to it. If you're looking to get one, trade up for one while you can, or purchase one while your ability allows you to. This card is going to continue to climb. Just like I told you guys a year and a half ago, it's already doubled. It's just going to keep going. All right, guys, let's check out the next card. And that is Buried Alive, a card I was looking to buy. And I was surprised. It has been reprinted a few times, but the price stays fairly consistent. And as the sales have come out, the original OG version is climbing in value, as you guys can see here. It does dip down a little tiny bit only when a reprint is done. People go after the originals in near mint condition whenever they get the opportunity. Now, $7 Canadian near mint is what I found locally. The average is $6.45 US. The market is $6.67 US. €2.40 to get to that card. Commander, Vintage, Legacy. But the sales are really high. Like, this thing is moving along. I didn't put very high because it fell just below my threshold, but I was surprised to see how many sales are happening. And that was just in the Weatherlight format. If I compare this to other editions they've reprinted, the sales are insanely high. So keep an eye on this card. It's a card people want to have, but if it doesn't get a reprint in the next year or so, it's going to keep upticking ever so slowly, and the OG originals will be forced to uptick because they're an original printing. It's one of those cards when you see it like this, you recognize you probably should be buying it because it's an OG original. Get yourself a playset for like 20 bucks, $24, wherever you are, and just hold the cards so you have them for any future deck building. But recognizing they are going to reprint it, which is why you should go only for the OG original, because they're going to reprint it, but the original version will always hold a higher value to it. And over the years, when there's less and less copies available, this card is going to rise. It's what I'm kind of tracking on a lot of my original printings. Now, Chrome Mox from Mirrodin. It doesn't have to be Mirrodin. I checked all the other formats. It's kind of sticking around that same price. $80 Canadian near mint. No copies locally that I could find from the stores I shop at right now. Okay, for the versions I was looking for. Average price is $75.45. The market is $66.36. A foil is $198.20 because, again, even Mirrodin, it's an older set. Foils were harder to get back then. Recognize that old foils are going to have an increased price hinge to them. If you get your chance to get one and trade for one, hold on to it because it's going to appreciate in value. Right now, €29.85 to get your card. Sales are very high. I checked in with a couple local stores. They've been sold out and nobody's trading them in, which is interesting. There's not a lot of trading on this card. People are holding it, which means they're using it in decks. Commander, Vintage, Legacy. Remember that. It has playability and versatility, but it will get reprinted. Wizards will do it. It's just a matter of when. And since they're slower on the reprints right now, you can look at this maybe coming out in double, triple masters. Maybe it could be there, but it also could come out in a specialty set, something that Wizards could really bank some money on. So keep your eyes peeled. If this is a card you're after, you can wait for it to dip in the next couple of years when they reprint, or get yourself one now and just get it out of the way. Again, I would go for an OG original, but that's just me. All right, now number 4, Mox Opal. You see the theme I'm on? See what cards I was trying to buy for my Commander deck? Now, apparently, this card is still awesome. People like it, but you notice there's some formats missing here? That's right. This thing's banned in Modern, man. It's like some cards just can't be played. $55 Canadian near mint. The average is $55 US, though. The market was $51.17, so I was surprised to find near mint copies locally for $55 Canadian and on eBay, by the way. Foil is €81.84, €30.88 to get that card. Commander, Vintage, Legacy. But also the sales are really high. Another one of those cards. Because these staples go into Commander decks, they have so much playability that it's almost as if Wizards just can't print them quick enough to keep up with demand, to keep the prices kind of suppressed. So although they're going to reprint these, they'll add new art the odd time, they're going to keep going. Look for the OG originals. I'm telling you, go for the Scars Mirrodin ones. The original ones will hold future values how I believe things to be in the future. It's just my humble opinion. I'm not a financial advisor and I don't know anything except for nachos and cheese with some jalapenos on the side. I love that card. Mox Opal. All right, Mox Tantalite. People have been asking me about this. Now, the sales are high. Lots of this card are moving across multiple formats. Online platforms and stuff. Now, $7.50 Canadian for a near mint copy locally. The average is $6.87. The market has it at $6 even US. A foil is $25.16. I definitely would go for a foil because it's an original Modern Horizons printing. It's the only time the card's been printed. Again, original price before it bumps up and gets that higher price point. Now, I did buy myself 10 of these when it first came out, and they were like $4 each, $3 each, just because it was so cheap to do it. But I never found a way to use it. But I've told people this in the past. Wizards does not let Moxes fail. So right now, although it has suspend, look for something that can remove those suspend counters and look for them to put it out in the next 5 years. They will put something out. I guess only 3 years now. They will put something out which will make this card more attractive over time. It's what Wizards does to gain value in a card. They find a way to break it. They'll come up with some little doohickey that will say, hey, remove a suspend counter every turn so you can get it out that much faster. Remember that, okay? Formats are Commander, Legacy, Vintage, and Modern, of course. And, I mean, price-wise, it's cheap, easy to get. Getting a playset, I'm not going to recommend it yet, only because it isn't broken yet. But I would love to see if it dips a little further in price. If it hit back to that $3 level, I would definitely grab it. At $7.50, which is where I think it's going to stay, because it is a mythic, it's not going to see probably a regular reprinting. I can see why people might grab a couple of copies to hold on to. I don't need any more. I'm sticking with the 10 copies I have. I just can't justify going high. Our next card up is Soul Ring from Commander 2021, but really it doesn't matter. It's any Soul Ring. But I chose this one because it was the cheapest I could find. Now this card comes in at $2.50 Canadian near mint. The average is $2. The market is €1.72. Formats are only Commander and Vintage. Even Legacy, this thing's not. Like, it's very small format. And the card's been reprinted into oblivion. But guess what? Let me tell you something. Sales are very high. Sales are sickening high. And that's because people don't like rotating cards like this out of their deck. You just want to have it sleeved up, leave it in whatever commander deck you build, whatever comment, whatever deck you're playing, you just want to build it, put it together, and leave it. And it's really funny, because that means a lot of times stores go short on Sol Ring. So eventually the price creeps up. If they don't reprint this card in the next 2-3 years, it'll get another little bit of a bump up. It'll just start rising because the attrition rate isn't because there's no copies available. It's because nobody wants to take the time to unsleeve a card that's worth like $1 or $2 and take it to a card shop. That's why. So it's just war of laziness. But when you start getting to old Sol Rings like Alpha, Beta, Unlimited, even Collector Edition, or the Kaladesh Invention, those are serious value cards with a lot of money tied in to the availability of the card, because the cards like that are really old and hard to come by. Kaladesh, very unique and also very hard to come by. Those are special cards. All the other ones are just reprints and rehashes. I get it, different colors and formulas, whatever they want to do. And a lot of people want this card banned in general. A lot of Commander players I've talked to now just say, oh, the card should be banned. We all play with it. If we just all removed it, it would take one card out and make room for something else. If everyone did it. But, of course, they're not going to ban it right now, are they? Because they keep reprinting it in Commander decks. Just something to keep an eye on. If this card doesn't get printed in a couple years, you might want to buy some copies cheap because there might be a good flip opportunity later on. Just my financial side coming through and saying, there's possibilities for that card. I know it goes short at stores a lot of the time. So our next card up is Lotus Petal from Tempest, $22 Canadian near mint. But guess what? I couldn't find any copies locally. It wasn't around. And of course, totally different again if we're talking a Kaladesh Invention, a very expensive card. Now, the average is $17.73 US. The market's $15.57. €10.05 to get you that bad boy. Of course, formats are Commander, Legacy, Pauper, and Vintage. Sales are insanely high. When I said there's none locally, like there's none locally. There's some huge stores here that have no copies. That's hilarious to me. I have a couple of play sets that I've used in my old school decks and stuff I've built before. So I was surprised to see how high it's gone. And I didn't, it's right, I didn't want to unsleeve one of those to put into my Commander deck. So I'm like, I've got to go find one. So I just had to get one on TCG Player. Hey guys, don't forget, you can use my link on TCG Player. It's found in the description of my videos if you want to help me out a little bit and getting this Commander deck finished. Now, our next card up is going to be Animate Dead. Now, again, awesome card, great stuff, original kind of card we used to use all the time. Very sicking when you would purposely discard some huge beastie and then animate dead and bring it back. We used to do crazy stuff, but now the creatures are so big and scary, there's so many more options, so I had to put this in my deck. $5.50 Canadian near mint. Average is $4.42. The market is $4.53 US. €3.05 to get that card. Commander, Legacy, Vintage. In my case, I'm definitely looking at it for Commander, and I'm trying to find an older edition because I think it would just look so cool to get maybe an Unlimited if I can. I'll sell it for Revised, but I'm going to go for an Unlimited, and if all else fails, I ordered a couple again on TCG Player just to have some copies around. Sales are very high on the card. You can't go wrong with it. It's an amazing card. I can see why people are still after this bad boy 30 years later. It speaks for itself. Now, our last card today is, people asked about this. You've asked, guys. I've looked into it. Repentant Blacksmith. All right, now, let's face the fact this guy gets used in older formats, like old school. Cards like this do see play. He has protection from red, so it makes him perfect for withstanding bolts. But there has been 3 people who have bought multiple copies, forcing the price up. Now, locally, it's $150 Canadian near mint, but there were no copies available, but that's what they told me they would sell it for. The average is $120.91 US. The market's $76.83. The copies I found were kind of all heavily played and beat up. €53.95 to get you that card. Formats again: Commander, Vintage, Legacy, Pauper. Pauper's there. I mean, this is an expensive card. I don't really know the rules for Pauper, but I thought Pauper meant poor cards. Maybe I'm wrong. Somebody can put that in the comment section and reprimand me with a slap to the face with a big, piece of nachos and cheese. But the sales are high, guys. There are a couple of people buying this card out. It's something to really keep your eye on. If you have a copy, I definitely wouldn't sell it because cards like this, Arabian Nights, original printings like this, they're never coming back. It's just something to hold on to. It's original. Keep it in mind. There are a lot of people gathering up Arabian Nights cards at this point, and they're just hoarding them in small piles and slowly building positions in it. And, you know, within about 20 years, there won't be any left available in the open market probably. Something to keep an eye on. All right, let's recap the end of this video. When you're looking at the financial side of cards, there are downturns, upswings, just like the stock market. Buying at the right time can really yield you a windfall if you're in it for the money. But other times we're just in it to save some cash, and that's great. If you can find the right time to buy a card you've been waiting for and go ahead and buy it on the cheap, get it into your deck, you're thrilled. I know. I feel the same way when I find a good deal on cards. Sometimes just to display in a binder, other times because I want to use them in a deck. I know the feeling. It's amazing when you find that good deal. But waiting for that opportunity means not rushing all the time. Taking your time and waiting for a card sometimes makes it that much more worthwhile when you finally get the card you're looking for. I can't wait myself. I can't wait to show you guys this deck when I'm finished. The new camera, the lens is in. For those who have made it this far in the video, who've made it at this like 15, 16 minute mark. I got the new lens. It looks amazing. Can't wait to show you guys. I mean, I guess I can show you right now, can't I? I can like turn it on and show you stuff. So I have to like learn how to mount everything. But there you go. There's you guys looking at the camera I'm screening on. And I'm doing the same. I'm looking at you guys looking at me. I know. The small things that amuse us. But I can't wait to film on the new tripod and stuff and get this all hooked up properly with the Elgato key. Hopefully it'll be a perfect still frame when we do the openings. I can't wait. And then hooking up for future videos in 4K is going to be an awesome experience. A little bit of learning curve, I'm sure, but an awesome experience. But sometimes things are worth the wait. Remember that. Don't rush to buy an expensive card. Sometimes it's a good time to wait. Thanks a lot for tuning in, guys. Hope everyone enjoyed the video. Remember, thumbs up. Put a comment in the comment section. Let's roll this party along till we get to that 7,500 subscribers and then on to 10K. Ha! Have a great one, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. And of course, a big shout out goes out to each and every one of my amazing patrons on the channel. Thank you so much for allowing this channel to exist with your awesomeness. Patrons are amazing. Thanks a lot, guys. Look forward to seeing you on the live stream on Sunday. We're going to rock and roll. Have a great one, everyone. Enjoy the day. I thought we'd end things off with a little Mahamadi Dejin. A little bit of awesomeness. I know. It's going in the 10K box. You got to pay attention to these things. They can be important when we get to 10,000 subscribers. It's going to happen eventually. Guys, have an awesome day today. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I really hope everyone enjoyed the video. And remember, shop smart, shop S smart. Put that in the comment sections. Have a great one, everyone.